After years of struggling, my husband finally said, "We made it, love. We can finally live our dreams." We bought our dream house, planned our future, and felt untouchable. Then, one night, he came home with tears in his eyes and whispered, "I have something to tell you." He handed me a letter and walked away. As I read the words, my vision blurred. It was a goodbye. And there was nothing I could do. Michael and I had been together for almost 17 years. We met in college at UT Austin. I was studying marketing, and he was in finance. We were both broke, both working part-time jobs just to afford gas and groceries, but we always had each other. We got married 5 years after we graduated. We didn't have much: a small apartment in Dallas, hand-me-down furniture, cheap wine on Friday nights, but we were happy. We worked hard. We saved every penny. I didn't buy new clothes unless something was falling apart. Michael drove the same car for 11 years. We didn't vacation. Every spare dollar went into our savings. We used to joke about our someday house. White siding. Big porch. Swing out front. One of those places you look at and go, "Wow. They made it." That was our dream. And last year, we made it. We bought that house in Highland Park. It was beautiful. Everything we ever dreamed of. We painted the walls together. Chose the curtains. Talked about which bedroom we'd turn into a nursery. We'd been trying for a baby, not rushing it, but we were ready. Michael stood in our kitchen one night, wine glass in hand, and said, "We made it, love. We can finally live our dreams." That was just 2 weeks before he left. Looking back, I can see it now. The signs. The way he started pulling away a little. More work trips. Longer hours. He stopped checking in during the day. He stopped making coffee for me in the mornings. We used to do that every day, whoever got up first made coffee. He just stopped. When I asked about it, he brushed it off. "I'm exhausted. Work's crazy right now. Don't read into it." I believed him. I wanted to believe him. The thing is, I trusted him with everything. Michael had always been steady. Solid. The guy you knew you could count on. The guy who'd bring you soup when you were sick and scratch your back until you fell asleep. That was him. Until it wasn't. It was a Tuesday. I remember because I had made spaghetti. His favorite. He didn't text me that he was going to be late, which was already unusual, so I waited. He walked in around 10 p.m. His face was pale, and his eyes looked red like he'd been crying. He didn't say hi. He didn't even take his shoes off. He just walked over, handed me a white envelope, and said quietly, "I have something to tell you." Then he walked upstairs. I stood there, holding it, feeling like my hands were shaking but not moving at all. I opened the letter. It was handwritten. 4 short paragraphs. Every word felt like a punch. "Anna, I don't know how to say this to your face because I know it will destroy you, and I can't watch that happen. I've been having an affair for almost a year. Her name is Rebecca. She works with me. It started slow, but I fell in love with her. I tried to stop, but I couldn't. I'm leaving. I know I should have told you sooner. I know this is cruel. I can't live a lie anymore. I'm sorry. You didn't do anything wrong. Please don't try to find me. This is goodbye. Michael." I read it twice. The first time, I didn't believe it. The second time, I fell to the floor. Just dropped. Like my knees gave out. I couldn't cry at first. I just sat there. Spaghetti still warm on the table. The porch light still on. My life as I knew it, done. I don't remember going to bed that night. I just remember waking up on the couch the next morning and realizing the front door was locked but his car was gone. So was his closet. Empty. His toiletries. Gone. His drawers. Empty. He had packed while I was out that afternoon. Planned it all. Walked in, handed me a letter, and vanished. I tried calling him. Straight to voicemail. I called his mom. She hadn't heard from him. I called his sister. Same thing. I wasn't even angry at first. I was just numb. The next few weeks were pure survival mode. I couldn't eat. I lost 12 pounds in less than a month. I couldn't sleep more than 2 or 3 hours at a time. I'd wake up panicking, thinking he was just in the next room. Then I'd remember. People brought food. My sister flew in from Denver and stayed with me for a week. But it didn't help. Nothing helped. I wasn't grieving a breakup. I was grieving a death. He didn't just leave me, he left our life. Our dream. Our future. He erased himself from our story like it was nothing. Eventually, things started coming out. A friend of mine from his job texted me one night. "I'm so sorry, Anna. I didn't know how bad it was. I didn't know he left like that." She told me Rebecca had been around for over a year. People at work knew. They had seen them at dinners. He took her on work trips. They stayed in the same hotel rooms. He had taken her to the lake house we rented last summer. Said it was ours, when it was mine and his anniversary getaway. That broke me all over again. I'm still in the house. I don't know what to do with it. Every wall reminds me of him. Every squeaky floorboard. Every drawer he built. Every room we painted together. People keep telling me I'll be okay. That I'll move on. That I'm strong. Right now, I don't feel strong. I feel like my entire life was a lie and everyone else knew except me. So yeah. I don't have some powerful wrap-up for you. No healing arc yet. I'm just a woman sitting in a dream house alone, trying to understand how love can turn into abandonment overnight. Thanks for reading. It started about a month after he left. I got a call from the bank about a flagged charge on our joint credit card. I thought it was weird. It was supposed to be closed after I called in and explained the situation. The charge? A hotel in Napa Valley. Under his name. But it was tied to my billing address. I called the bank, furious. They apologized and said they'd look into it. I told them to freeze the account again. They said it already was. Somehow, it got unfrozen. And I didn't do it. The next week, I got a letter from a loan company. It was a past due notice for a loan I never took out. I nearly passed out right there in the kitchen. The name on the letter? Anna. My name. My full name. The address listed? Our old apartment in Dallas, where we used to live 10 years ago. I called the company, and after a hellish phone tree, I finally got someone on the line who confirmed that the application was submitted online, with my social, my name, and his old phone number as the contact. It hit me like a punch to the gut. Michael had stolen my identity. I filed a police report. Froze my credit. Spent hours on the phone with banks, credit bureaus, and fraud departments. I was so deep in stress that I forgot to eat again. My sister came back and practically had to force me to drink water. He didn't just walk out on our marriage. He took pieces of my life with him. My information. My trust. My future credit. I couldn't even get approved for a small personal loan I needed to cover home repairs. Everything was messed up. And then, the biggest twist came. I was sitting at the kitchen table, same place I read his goodbye letter, going through documents and fighting off a migraine when my phone rang. Blocked number. I almost didn't answer. But something in me said to pick up. It was Rebecca. Her voice was shaking. She sounded nervous. Like she'd been crying. She said, "I know I have no right to call you. I don't know who else to talk to. He left me too. Apparently, 2 weeks before that call, Michael vanished again. Packed a bag, turned off his phone, and disappeared. No note. No text. Nothing. Just like he did to me. She told me they had been planning a move to Chicago. He said he got a job offer. But when the moving truck showed up, he was gone. So was the deposit. So was the money in the shared savings account they had. She started crying on the phone, full-on sobbing. I could barely breathe. This man destroyed my life, and now he had destroyed hers too. Rebecca and I stayed on the phone for over an hour. I found out things I wish I never knew. He had lied to her about our divorce. Told her we had been separated for over a year. Told her I had cheated on him and left him broken. That's how he justified his affair. He told her we never really wanted kids. That I hated the idea of starting a family. He even said I made him move to Highland Park against his will, that it was my dream house, not his. All lies. Rebecca was devastated. Not just because he left, but because she realized she had built her life on a foundation of total fiction. She called me again 2 days later. I think he's done this before, she said. To someone else. I think there's more. She had found emails. Hidden email accounts. Multiple dating profiles. Old text messages. She sent me screenshots of conversations he had with other women, while he was still with me, and while he was with her. This man had been living a double, maybe even triple life. Multiple relationships. Lies stacked on lies. Finances all over the place. God knows what else. And all this time, I thought he was just one man, broken and scared. No. He was something else. I don't even know what's real anymore. Did he ever love me? Did anything we had matter? Was I just a phase? A stop on the road? Rebecca thinks he's running some kind of long con. Charming women, building trust, then disappearing with cash or credit. She's trying to find out if there are more victims. I started digging too. Contacted an old friend of his from college. He hadn't heard from Michael in over 5 years. But when I told him what happened, he wasn't surprised. He was always shady with money, he told me. Nice guy on the surface, but he never stuck around long when things got tough. There's no closure. No justice yet. I don't even know where he is. Maybe he's in Chicago. Maybe he's already moved on to his next life, his next victim. All I know is that the man I loved for 17 years never existed. And every day I wake up, I have to remind myself, none of this was my fault. But damn, it still hurts like hell. So after the calls with Rebecca, I thought the story was finally laid bare. Michael was a liar. A cheater. Possibly a scammer. That was it, right? But no. Turns out, there was still another side to him I hadn't seen yet. One even darker than I imagined. And I found it, in a storage unit. A week after that second call with Rebecca, I was going through our old documents again. Just trying to stay organized, mostly. Insurance, taxes, property stuff. That's when I found it. A key taped to the back of a folder. It was labeled with Sharpie, U-Store Plano. 1057. I stared at it for 10 minutes straight. My hands were sweating. I had never seen it before. Michael had never mentioned any storage unit. My stomach dropped. I called the facility the next day. They confirmed that Unit 1057 was rented under his name for the past 3 years. 3 years. That was before he started pulling away from me. Before Highland Park. Before the affair. I asked if I could access it. I explained I was his legal spouse. I still had the marriage certificate, still technically had rights. They agreed to let me in, one time. It was a 10 by 10 unit. Cold. Musty. Smelled like paper and metal. Inside were 6 boxes, 1 gym bag, a coat rack, and a safe. That safe looked exactly like the one we used to have in our old apartment. Except it wasn't the same one. I opened the gym bag first. Inside were a second phone I had never seen before. A passport, with a different last name. A manila envelope full of cash. There was at least $12,000 in that envelope. All in 50s and hundreds. I was shaking. This wasn't just cheating anymore. This was something else. I dug through the boxes. More fake documents. Rental agreements for apartments in other states. One was in Oregon. One in Tennessee. One in Arizona. All with aliases. I charged the second phone at home. It wasn't locked. I don't know if that was an oversight, or if he thought no one would ever find it. There were texts. Hundreds. Some were from Rebecca. Some from another woman, her name was Claire. She lived in Flagstaff. The worst part? Some were from a woman named Emily, not the fake name kind, this was someone real, who had a toddler. And the texts made it sound like the kid might be Michael's. He looks just like you, Mikey. Same eyes. You'd laugh if you saw him with his pancakes. He eats just like you do. When are you coming back to see him? He misses you. I told him Daddy's working. He keeps asking if Daddy is coming to his birthday. I felt like I couldn't breathe. This man, he wasn't just a liar. He was living multiple lives. He had a child. Maybe two. He had homes, fake names, money hidden in storage units. I kept telling myself it couldn't get worse, but it did. Every text, every document, every lie was a knife. Rebecca was in shock when I told her. She said he always used protection. She was on birth control. But even she admitted that he'd vanish for days sometimes and blame it on work trips. We think he may have been supporting these other women with our joint savings. He had drained over $60,000 when he left. I couldn't stay silent anymore. I went back to the police. Showed them everything. The phone. The documents. The fake IDs. The photos. I filed a formal report, not just for identity theft, but fraud. Possible bigamy. They opened an investigation. Told me they'd need time, but this wasn't just a domestic issue anymore. It could be federal. That's when it all hit me. I might have been married to a con artist. A number popped up last Thursday. Unknown area code. I let it go to voicemail. When I listened to it, my whole body went cold. Anna, I don't know if you'll even listen to this, but I had to try. I didn't mean for things to happen this way. I didn't plan any of it. I got in over my head. I didn't know how to stop. I'm sorry. I never stopped loving you. But I can't come back. It was him. His voice was low. Tired. Scared? He didn't say where he was. Just that he was safe. Said he was sorry. But it didn't sound like he was going to turn himself in. The house is quiet again. Too quiet. I sit in the living room sometimes staring at the stairs, half expecting him to come down and tell me it was all a dream. That we're still the people who made spaghetti on Tuesdays and drank cheap wine on the porch. But that version of him is dead. Now I'm dealing with attorneys, investigators, and credit agencies. I'm talking to other women he left behind. I'm waiting on DNA results to see if that little boy in Flagstaff really is his. There's no closure. Not yet. And honestly, I don't think there's going to be a clean ending. 3 months after that voicemail, I heard nothing. No more calls. No more messages. It was like Michael had vanished off the face of the earth, again. The police were investigating, but it was slow. Too slow. They said his aliases, the moving, the multiple bank accounts, it all made things more complicated. They were working with other agencies, but there were too many moving parts. I tried to move on. I joined a local group for women who'd gone through betrayal. I reconnected with people I'd pulled away from. I even went out on a few casual dates, just to remember what it felt like to be looked at like a human again. But in the back of my mind, I still needed something. Not justice. Not revenge. Answers. And then, out of nowhere, I got them. It was a Saturday morning. I had just come back from the grocery store and was unloading bags when I saw a shadow through the side window. My heart jumped. There he was, standing on my front porch, as if nothing had happened. Same face. Same damn sweater I'd folded for him 1,000 times. Hair a little longer. A little thinner. But it was him. I froze. He knocked. I opened the door. No words for 10 seconds. Then I said the only thing I could say, "Are you out of your mind?" He looked tired. Really tired. Like he hadn't slept in days. "I had to see you," he said. I let him in. Not because I forgave him. Not because I wanted him back. I needed to see it. I needed to see what kind of man could do what he did. He sat at the kitchen table. The same table where I had read that letter. He said, "I never planned to leave like that." I swear. I got in too deep. The lies. I couldn't stop. I didn't say anything. He kept going. I owed people. A lot. Gambling. Debt from before we even got married. I used fake names to get out of it. Then it just spiraled. I was staring at him like I was staring at a stranger. Then he said the worst part. "Rebecca's not the only one. Neither are the others. There's another kid. In Arizona. I know he's mine." I felt like my body turned to stone. "You had a baby while you were married to me?" He didn't deny it. "I'm sorry," he whispered. I exploded. "You're sorry?" I screamed. "You ruined my life. You lied to me for years. You made me think I was crazy. You stole from me, cheated on me, disappeared, and now you show up with a confession like it's closure?" I couldn't stop yelling. He just sat there. Rebecca showed up, too. She had been following him. She walked in and saw me, and her face just broke. "You told me she knew everything," she said to him. "You said you had no contact. You said you were clean." He just put his head in his hands. Rebecca turned to me and said, "I'm sorry. I didn't know he came back here. I didn't even know he was in Texas again." I swear. I believed her. The three of us stood in that kitchen. Nobody talking. The air thick with pain. Michael left that night. Rebecca drove him back to wherever he had stashed his things. I filed a restraining order the next day. Sent every document I had to the police again. This time, they moved faster. A month later, he was arrested for fraud. The charges stacked up. Credit card fraud. Identity theft. Child support neglect. He'll probably serve time. Rebecca left the state. Said she wanted to start over. She messages me sometimes. We're not friends, but we're connected now in a way that's hard to explain. The house is still mine. I finally got a lawyer who helped me lock down all remaining financial damage. I'm rebuilding. My credit, my life, my self-worth. Some days I feel okay. Some days I wake up and wonder if anything I remember was even real. I don't think I'll ever fully understand how a person can live 3 lives and still sleep at night. But I do know this, I survived. People say you should forgive to move on. I'm not sure I believe that. What I do believe is this: you can survive anything if you give yourself time. Space. Support. I don't hate him. I don't love him anymore either. He's just a shadow in the corner of a story I never asked to be part of. Would I take it all back if I could? Maybe. But would I trade who I am now for who I was when I was living a lie? No. Not anymore. So here I am. Not whole. Not healed. But real. And finally, free.